The number one product I've ever seen to help with fibroids is a product called Dissolving. Okay? Dissolving. It's a Chinese herbal formula. BD212 dissolving combination. This can break down a fibroid a centimeter per month. This is the most effective thing I've ever seen. It uses about 14 different Chinese herbs. Mixture, this combination can dissolve a fibroid. I've seen it dissolve it even faster than that, but the average about a centimeter per month. When you're doing this, there's foods, and I'm going to go on some other supplements that can also help. There are foods you can avoid. The number one food you want to avoid when you're dealing with fibroids is dairy. The number one food is dairy. You want to eliminate anything that's going to cause the body to create more mucus. Okay? Mucus is a protective barrier for the body. You want the body to eliminate mucus, and you have to get rid of dairy out the diet. You need the lymphatic system to work properly when it's breaking down a fibroid. Okay? Because that's one of the things that your body's going to use to eliminate those toxins out. Okay? So you got to avoid dairy. Secondary thing, you got to avoid starches. You got to avoid starches. Starches affect your insulin level. Insulin level is a hormone. Insulin is a hormone. Anabolic hormone at that. It builds things up. It makes the body store fat, and it makes the body turn sugar, store it, and it turns it into store it into fat if need be. Okay, we went through the whole thing about how insulin works and gluconeogenesis and all that in the liver and all that stuff. But having large amounts of insulin shows you're eating a tremendous amount of starches and sugars, and those things are going to be converted to fat if you're not burning them off. So you want to keep the starches down because you don't want the body to be creating more fat cells. Okay? Because what does fat cells do? It makes the body secrete more estrogen. And what does estrogen do? Estrogen makes your body make the fibroid grow larger. So you're eliminating dairy out the diet. You're eliminating starches out the diet. You're consuming more fruits, especially in the berry families, because they have an effect on stopping things from growing, okay? I'm going to just keep it like that. Anti-carcinogenic, anti-cancer, antioxidant. You want to do some of the, you can do some of your citrus fruits because they have a pulling, especially some of the melons, really melons, if it's still in season. They have a pulling effect on the lymphatic system, so you want that to work, okay? You want to consume clean proteins, and you want an omega-3 rich diet. Omega-3 rich diet. You want to consume clean proteins. You want to consume nuts. You want to consume fish if you want to. It's up to you. You want to avoid shellfish, okay? You want to avoid, actually, this is the crazy thing. You actually may want to avoid chicken. I would hate to say this, but you better off probably doing grass-fed beef or something like that. But you want to, because chicken a lot of times have a lot of estrogens in them, unless you get them organic, okay? And you want to drink a lot of water while you're doing this. So avoid the starches, avoid the sugars, avoid dairy. Consume a lot of fruits and vegetables. You want to do clean protein and foods that's rich in omega-3. Omega-3 creates prostaglandins. That balances your hormones. That balances your hormones. So your estrogen is not here causing that fibroid to grow. It balances it. All right, get back to the supplement. Okay? Dissolving. Number one supplement I've ever seen. Dissolving. Breaks down the fibroid in about a centimeter per month. It's a Chinese herbal formula by a company called Secret of the Worlds. Dissolving formula. Number two. This is the formula that's relatively new, but we're getting great results. I'm actually seeing this work. Dissolving I've seen work since the 90s. That's why I said the number one for me. It may be not, somebody else may have a number one formula. This is number one formula for me because I've seen it work since the 90s. At the store I worked in Irvington, they had it there. At the store I work at now, they have it there. Dissolving, #1 formula for dealing with fibroids that I've seen. #2, we have a formula on the market is by a company called Body by Lathan. It's called the Fibroid Formula. The Fibroid Formula helps reduce the size of fibroids, helps stop with excessive bleeding, and it can destroy the root structure. This is very important. When dealing with a fibroid, when you're getting treatment, a natural treatment for a fibroid, is not only breaking down the actual fibroid itself, it is actually, its job is to get rid of the root structure. Get rid of the root structure. Why is that? Why get rid of the root structure? Because as you've seen in a, what is it called? A myomectomy, hysterectomy, myomectomy, yes, they can cut out the fibroid, but it has a tendency to grow back. Think of a fibroid as being like a weed. Think of a fibroid. This is the best example of a fibroid. Think of a fibroid as being like a weed. If a fibroid is like a weed, and you go outside in your garden, you chop a weed down, is it going to grow back? Yes, it is. Because you didn't get rid of the root structure. What they do in the myomectomy, they cut the fibroid out. They burn them out, whatever else. But the fibroid has blood vessels and it has a root structure. It wants to keep living. And they may cut all around, try to get all the little area out, almost like scoop it out if you want to say that. But if you don't get everything, it will grow back. Dissolves, breaks down the root structure. Once you get rid of the actual fibroid, you stay on there for about another month and a half, gets rid of the root structure. The Body by Lathan, the Fibroid Formula, its job is to get rid of the root structure too. The key is to get rid of the root structure. #3, this is another one I've seen. It's been out for a long time. It's a tea called One Love. That's the name of the company, One Love. Womb tea. WOMB tea. Womb tea, like clean your womb. This tea is excellent for dealing with yeast. This tea is excellent for dealing with women who have BV, bacterial vaginosis. This is really good for just cleaning the womb. Excellent for dealing with fibroids. It's excellent for dealing with fibroids. Okay? So womb tea is another good tea by a company called One Love. All right? There's other things you could do. There's a company out there, it's been around, my Jamaicans may know about it. It's called Sundial. This is a company called Sundial. They make a formula called African Woman Back Tonic. This is a formula good for women just in general. It helps deal with back pain. It helps deal with yeast. It helps deal with hormonal imbalance. It builds your libido back up, so women who are not sexually active because their hormones are low, this formula is really good for that. And since it balances hormones, it has been shown to reduce the size of fibroids over time. The Woman Back Tonic is really good by Sundial. Okay? Then there's herbs that you can do. We're going to talk about some herbs that you can do. You can do an herb called chaparral. Chaparral. I think it's CHPARRAL. Chaparral. Chaparral is a Midwestern herb. The Native Americans used to use it to get rid of large masses, cancer. This was one of the things they used to help fight. Chaparral is an excellent herb. Chaparral is a really good herb for cleaning the womb, but specifically designed for dealing with fibroids. Really good. And if you really want it to work well, it's okay by itself. It works really well if you mix it with red clover. Red clover is a blood purifying herb. Red clover is really good for balancing hormones, reduce excessive amounts of estrogens. Everybody thinks estrogen is great. It is. It's a beautiful hormone for women. You don't want excessive, like you don't want excessive testosterone. You don't want excessive estrogen. Red clover balances that. It acts as a phytoestrogen. What does red clover act as? A phytoestrogen. What is a phytoestrogen, so you understand? A phytoestrogen is plants that mimic estrogen, but are not estrogen. they actually block rogue estrogens. So think of a rogue estrogen as like some of the plastic we get, like the PUFAs out there and things like that. There's a lot of rogue estrogens. Some of the pesticides. This is why it's very important to eat organic if you can. Some of the pesticides mimic estrogen in the body. The way the liver breaks it down, it makes it mimic estrogen. So you have these rogue-like estrogens. Well, the body don't know the difference between a good estrogen and a bad estrogen. The body say, hey, shit. Oh, excuse me. Hey, that's the estrogen right there. Let me put you on here. Boom. And that's a rogue estrogen. Okay? And you have all these other estrogens. The body wants to hold on to them. The phytoestrogens say, hold on a second. Let me jump on that receptor site. Let me block the door for them not to come in. So the phytoestrogen jumps on there and say, no, you rogue estrogen. You can't come here. I block the door. You can't get inside. Stay outside. That's what red clover does. It's a plant that has phytoestrogens. This is where you hear a lot about soy. Soy is bad for you. Soy is bad for you. No. Excessive amount of soy is not great for you. But soy is a phytoestrogen. That's phytoestrogen. It blocks rogue estrogens. That's why soy can help with menopause. But you don't want too much soy when you're a man either. You want a little bit, not too much, okay? Chaparral. Chasteberry is also another good herb that's really good for dealing with fibroids. Chasteberry. Why is chasteberry? Because it balances the hormones. Chasteberry, better known as Vitex, V-I-T-E-X, berry. Vitex or chasteberry, C-H-A-S-T-E berry. Really good if you're dealing with fibroids, okay? Chickweed, excellent herb for cleansing the lymphatic system. We just talked about dealing with, we need the lymphatic system to be clean to make sure the fibroids are working properly. To get rid of the fibroids, you need the lymphatic system to be clean. Chickweed helps with that. Cleavers help with cleaning the lymphatic system. This will also help you with your fibroids. There's a green food. Well, burdock root also is really good for fibroids. And Dong Quai is a Chinese herb called Dong Quai. That's also really good for dealing with fibroids. Pennyroyal, P-E-N-N-Y-R-O-Y-A-L, pennyroyal, helps with fibroids. Now, these things work good, but then you better off working in combination. The first 4 formulas I gave you were combinations. And why combinations better? Because combinations have multiple herbs in there that's working simultaneously for the same purpose. The dissolving formula does what? It breaks up fibroids, it gets rid of the root structure, and is a powerful detoxifier of the lymphatic system. And what did we just talk about what we need to do when we want to deal with fibroids? We want to detox the lymph. That's very important. The Body by Lathan Fibroid Formula is a powerful blood cleanser. It has a good effect on the lymphatic system. It breaks down fibroids, and it prevents the root structure. Same thing with the womb tea. Same thing with the Sundial African woman back tonic. All these things are really good. Now, there's other fibroid formulas out there. These are the ones that I've actually seen work. I don't like to say many different things because if I haven't seen them work, I don't want to give you wrong information. Okay? You may give me information on this, but I'm telling you, this is what I've seen actually work.